Good morning. It's not windy this morning, so we're gonna run at least one load of spray, maybe do two. We'll see how it goes. I'm all loaded up for the first one. We got a heavy load. We put as much in the tank as we could get, 1250 in the gallons, because well, we got 86 acres to spray, and so we're gonna cut our gallon back to 14.5 per acre instead of 15, and close enough. This corn's growing too. This is one of the earlier fields that we side dressed. It's early planted. It looks pretty good. Just amazing to me how fast stuff grows, but also the differences between fields and how quickly things can change. So anyway, we'll get this one sprayed. We're probably going to go back and load up another one. There's almost no wind right now, and it might pick up later this afternoon, so I kind of need to spray when I can, and when we can't spray, we'll side dress. Done here. Okay, the wind has not picked up yet. I think we're going to go load up another load. We'll spray the field that we side dressed yesterday. Of course, we won't be able to do the whole thing. There's 100 acres in that field, so that would be pushing it on a load. All right, came back here to the farm and we loaded up. We got another load ready to go. I'm actually going to go spray the next field to side dress before we side dress it. There's only 40 acres there. I've got enough to do 80 on the sprayer, or a little more than 80. But we'll get that one done because it's easier to spray before we side dress it than it is after. So we're just gonna do this next 40 acres, and then we'll go to the field we were in last night. It's gonna take 2 loads anyway, so we'll just make that work. So this is the field we side dressed last night. We had like 15 acres on this side that was done before the rain, so we didn't do right here, but we did the rest of it. This is a 102 acre field now. They took some out for a pasture up there by the house, but that's okay. I'll be interested to see how many acres we do just perimetering it though, because there's the shape of the field, right? So by the time we get all the way around this, we're gonna have a lot of acres done. We might be out of chemical before we even get the perimeter of it done, because I did that other 40 already, so we only had another 40 acres of chemical in the spray. That'd be close to that. 32 acres. It's 32 acres going around the perimeter of this field. I loaded up our third and final load for the day. And we're spraying my plot field. I gotta go back up and finish that one we were just in, but I've got somebody coming to pick up some beans here in about 10 minutes, and I thought, well, let's just spray the plot field while we're here. One thing to know when we spray a plot field, it's a little bit different. You'll notice we're driving directly across the rows. I don't want to influence the outcome of the plot by having compaction or extra corn run over in some of the rows where the sprayer passes would be if I was following the rows, and not in other entries that aren't going to have the sprayer pass. So we equalize it and we just drive across the rows. And yes, I run over a little bit more corn, but it keeps everything more fair and even, and it works fine. So not a big deal. All right, we got this field sprayed out here. We got him loaded up and he's good to go. I was real careful here coming along my wife's pumpkins. We kept the boom low and the pressure down. We drove real slow so that we didn't get any drift. Should be fine. I need to come along here with the gator and the little sprayer and clean up the edges, and like my sweet corn is Roundup Ready sweet corn, we can spray that and clean up the weeds in there and stuff, but we can't get the pumpkins. All right, we got our spraying done. Time to go do some side dressing. When I got back here, well, on my way back, I got an alert on my phone that our tractor had been idling for 15 minutes because I have an alert set up so that, you know, when people let it idle for no reason, what are you doing? And I got back, Phil had moved it out back and was hosing the bar off, washing things down and letting the tractor idle. but I need to do some math. I know what fields we've got to do, and I just haven't added up the totals, but it's possible if we can get enough anhydrous, we could get it done tomorrow up here, and I would be thrilled with that. Got to have partial tank empty, so we just hooked onto this full one. Let's see how long it takes to empty one. This isn't probably the best field for it because it's not big long rows, but we might not. Yeah, it'll be close. Whether we can finish this field on this tank or not, I'm not 100% sure that we will. It'll be close to empty when we are done. I don't know. Anyway, it's 11:34 when we started with this one. We'll see what time it is when it's empty. So I was going along and I was starting to notice a little bit more bleed off from my vapor line rows, so I thought I better get out and check and make sure that the hoses hadn't come off. Like that one. See that? That hose is supposed to be on that tube, and there's a hose clamp there. Ugh. Got a whiff of it. Huh. And so it's bleeding off a lot. It's going to burn the corn, so we're going to stop and fix it. There's not a ton of nitrogen that comes out of those vapor lines, but it will burn the corn if it, when it's gassing off when you're driving next to it. So that one, and there's one in there. You can see that wheel is all frozen. That one's doing the same thing. Get my mask and my gloves on, and we'll just loosen our clamp up, shove it back on there, and tighten it up. Well, that one over there I got just fine, no problems. This one over here, however, the tube is plugged up, and I can't get my screwdriver in there good enough to get everything picked out and cleared. So Phil was driving by, and so I flagged him down, and he's going to run to the farm and get something longer and skinnier so we can open that tube up. Got our hose cleaned out, or our tube cleaned out, and hose put back on, and good to go here. So we got about 10 acres or so left in this field. Just got to get out to the road now, and then we are going to just jump across the road or down the road. We got 32 acres, a couple fields over there where there's a tank, and then across the road on the other side of that house over there we've got 90 or 92, whatever it is. So Phil's got enough anhydrous there to do all of that. Our supplier is open until 3 today. It's 12:44. Hopefully we can get at least 2 more, and they would set some out for us if we want them for later. If I knew how much it was going to rain tonight, I would know how much more I'm going to need. But the next group of fields is down the road about 3 miles, and we're going to need 5 tanks down there. Just a little mud. Don't worry about that. We'll wet in that draw. Alright, now this field's done. Some of this corn looks really good, some of it's not so great, but this is one of our toughest farms. This area right in here is not great ground. It's highly variable. We got some muck pockets, we've got some really tight yellow clays. Just, it's not real productive over here, so they're not farms that we typically push really hard and get super high yields on, but they're still fields, and they're still farms that we farm, so we do the best we can with them. We're jumping right across the road here now. This is also what happens when you don't turn the starter on. This first pass right here, the second pass is much greener. Maybe we can show it to you better the next pass of the anhydrous here, but this corn's really yellow, small, just didn't grow very good because I forgot to click that foot switch and turn my starter on when we were planting until we got right up in front of where that other tank is there, and then all of a sudden all the rows turned green. That's where it started getting fertilizer. That's why we use starter. 3:35. It was 2:24 when we started this tank. Now this was not the most efficient place to run. We can empty it faster than that, but a little over an hour to go through a tank. That's moving. So this morning I got a text from a number that I did not recognize. It's not saved in my phone. I'd have to look at the area code, but it was not local. That just said, "Are you busy?" I don't know who it is or why they're asking, so I just said yes, because I was busy. I was side dressing corn. It was right when we were getting started, and that was it for a little while. And then like an hour later I got some more texts with a whole long thing about meeting somebody and blah 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 when you get here, with some pictures of this girl trying on dresses, and I'm just like, what? Well, that's weird. So I took a picture of the hood of the tractor and I said, "Sorry, but I think you have the wrong number." Well, she then was very apologetic and whatever, and I'm like, okay, no big deal, whatever, and I just kind of let it go at that. Well, I just got another text. Like, thanking me for being so understanding and wanting to know who I am, and that she gave me her name, and she's from Los Angeles, California, and I'm just, is this a scam? Is somebody trying to scam me somehow? Or do I engage with this person and teach them about farming? That's what I need to know. The problem is, you guys aren't going to see this till tomorrow, and that's too late. So, I guess I'm going to have to decide, or post it on Instagram or something. See what people say. I don't know what to do about this one. It's a little wet here. Full send. We made it. It's not good. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. I thought it was narrow enough. I'm like, well, we'll float across. The front tracks will be across before the tank gets in it. And I don't know if that was the case there, but we made it. Maybe the next one I'll get stuck for you guys. You remember earlier when I said this field had a lot of variation and variability in the soils? Like, we've got muck holes down over there that's super black, high organic matter dirt, and then it kind of got this hill over here, and then there's a draw that goes down, and we come up another hill, and then we go down, and that's where that wet spot that I drove through was. But then, if you look ahead of us, we go up, and we go up this little hill by the trees over there, and that whole ridge is some of the just... oh, it's terrible ground. Let's just be honest. It's not good, productive. It's very hard. When we had first used one of these type of anhydrous applicators with this style of row units, that was one of the spots that I did, and it was actually floating out of the ground because we didn't have enough weight. I could not keep the openers in the ground, but we were very dry. That said, every time we used our old anhydrous bar going through there with a shank on it, it would break a shank, break bolts. The ground was just so hard, you'd hit a rock, anything like that. You had to go slow. It never sealed very good. Right now, with the moisture that we've got in this ground, this bar is sealing perfectly, even as we go up this little ridge here. Working really, really well. I'm super impressed by it. There's no bleed off. Like, this bar's been performing very, very well here today, especially. So that is good. Now, the corn stand out here is not great. We're not putting on a high rate of N. In fact, this is in my low zone. We're only putting a little over 100 pounds of nitrogen on here, side dress. We got some with the planter and some other stuff, but this isn't going to be good corn. It's just the way it is. And so we cut our inputs here to save a little money, or more so to reallocate them to areas that need it a little bit more. So anyway, just thought I would point that out. There's corn across most of it. It's better stand than we get sometimes, but I bet it's only 20 to 25,000 plants per acre. There's a lot of gaps, a lot of skips out here. It just couldn't come through the crust. So this is my last pass of this field. We are done over here. So it is 5:30. I'm going to head back to the farm and see what it looks like. We've got another 4 full tanks. I can keep going tonight if I feel like I need to, but I don't think we're going to get any more tanks for tomorrow. So if it's not going to rain a bunch tonight, I don't have a lot of incentive to keep going here. Came home for a little bit here after I stopped back at the farm. There is some rain in the area, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a lot. I don't know. I might go back. I might not. I haven't been feeling good all week. I know some of you have noticed it, but just, oh. Anyway, I got a package today. I bought my wife a rototiller for her pumpkin patch out here that's getting to the point where it needs it. So I thought I'd put it together and try it out here. It's not a real rototiller. It's a whatever. Like my grandparents used to have an old Mantis tiller, you know, no actual wheels on it. So I thought, well, let's get the electric version, put it on our Milwaukee, and see how it works. And the answer is, not great. Doesn't work great. It works, but our ground is too hard. We needed this 2 weeks ago. The weeds are too big and the ground is too hard. Better than a hoe? Yeah, probably. But I think this is going to be a go around the plants and get the stuff close as you can without damaging the plants, and get the Roundup out. Actually, right now would be a good time to get the Roundup out. Nice, calm evening, no wind, and kill everything in between them without hitting the pumpkins. All right, well, I spent an hour at home hanging out with the family a little bit. Took some more medicine, so maybe I'll feel a little better in an hour or so. And we are gonna go put some more anhydrous on. The more I get done tonight, the less I have to do tomorrow, or the more other stuff I can do tomorrow. Just, yeah, you know what I mean. So I got 4 tanks that I got to get done before Monday. What's that? Looks like it's got water in it. Anyway, so if I can get a couple of them, 2 or 3 of them done tonight, it's better for tomorrow. Whew, there is some ugly looking corn on this field here in the back. See, I show you the good stuff, but I'll show you the stuff that's not so good too. This corner particularly, this back spot over here, was way too wet when we planted it. You know, let me finish the ends and we'll talk about this field. All right, let's talk about this field. So, we've got a big wet hole in the middle that is a little wetter than when we planted, but we'll get through most of it. We're definitely gonna go around the spot way over there. We're probably gonna have to go around that spot too. But there's not much corn growing in it, so it doesn't really matter. This one, however, we'll just go right through and we'll barely even cut a rut. It'll be fine. Just fine. Now, whether the corn's going to grow there or not, that's another story. But this field was wheat last year. This is the field where we had a lot of volunteer wheat, specifically in the windrows. And I came down here one day with the field cultivator trying to do our spring tillage and get this ready to plant, and it would not flow through the field cultivator. It was bunching up really bad. It was chunky and just goo. Not ideal conditions, and we were starting to feel like it was getting a little late. This was towards the end of planting, and like there was a bunch of rain coming, so now is your chance, just go and get it kind of thing. And so we did it when it probably wasn't perfect, but I let it, I took the field cultivator home, quit using that. We brought the disc down here, and then we hit it with the disc, which knocked the volunteer weed out a little bit better, helped get it broken open so that it would dry out a little bit more. And then we came down with the field cultivator the next day after it had aired out, and Dad worked it down. Or I think I did some of it and Dad came and took over maybe. But we got it worked down decent. Now I can still see a lot of yellow streaks out here. That's where the volunteer wheat was, the old windrows from the wheat last year. It's showing up big time. It's hurting that corn's ability to find nitrogen and tying up the nutrients in the soil. So that will go away, but it's already hurt the corn. Adding this nitrogen that we're putting on now is going to make a big difference in getting this stuff to grow. But that said, this is the smallest corn we've been in a while, but it's also the latest planted that we've been in a while. Everything else was towards the earlier end of planting, and so we kind of expect to see that out here. It's not all bad. Some of it back over that way towards the road looks pretty good, but especially in this back corner here, she was real wet when we planted it, and it's not pretty now. We're gonna pay for that. Some days or years, that's just how farming goes. You make the best decision you can with the information that you have available at the time you have to make the decision, right? And when we had to make a decision, are we gonna plant this or are we gonna wait on it to dry out? The information we were saying was, we can get across it. It's dry enough that we're not gonna get stuck. It's drying out. It's not horrible conditions. But there's a lot of rain in the forecast. There's more rain coming, so if we don't do it now, when are we going to get a chance to do it? And so we went and we did things, and some of it was ready and the right thing to do, and some of it wasn't. We'll survive. It'll be okay. We have lots better fields than this. Just switched tanks again, and we're down to 27 acres or so to go in this field, so I'm not sure. It should finish it. This tank should finish it. We're going to work on this stuff back here. There's kind of a that spot. It's that pond that we have to go around, and the river's over here, so we got to do all these rows in the back here, and then we'll finish this a little bit up in the front. We are getting a few raindrops though. Some light raindrops. I've been watching the radar. We might get rained out. We might get a tenth or two, but it does not look like there's any significant heavy rainfall coming for us tonight, so we can finish what we don't get done tonight tomorrow without any issues. Well, the rain has been on and off, a little drizzly here and there. The top of the tractor hood is dry because there's an engine under it, but the top of my fenders are wet. Corn plants are wet, but the ground is still soaking it up and dry. So we've got about 10 acres to go. I hope we're gonna finish it. We got this part done, but we gotta go fill in this gap and then go up there. So I don't see any at the moment, but just a minute ago I saw something and I had an interesting story about. I saw the first lightning bugs of the year. And if you know, you don't know because you guys aren't farmers, right? When you see lightning bugs, it means that we've had enough heat units for, number one, the lightning bugs to hatch, emerge, but also for the corn rootworm larvae to emerge and to hatch and start feeding on the corn roots, which is bad. Not a good thing. Something we'll start scouting for a little bit, doing some root digs and see if we find any pruning and that kind of stuff. But yeah, saw a few lightning bugs out here. First ones I have seen for the year. Well, I was questioning it for a minute there. It rained sort of hard, but we're going to make it. We got one more pass to make here in the short rows in the front, and we got this side of the field, this field done. We have a 15-acre piece across the river, the triangle piece there, and then 65 acres across the ditch from there. So those are the next fields. I am not starting there tonight. It's 9:45. I'm tired. I've gotten a lot done today, and I'm going home. If it doesn't rain significantly tonight, we'll do it tomorrow, and I don't think it's going to. If it does, we'll do it Monday. So what? I don't have enough anhydrous to finish there tomorrow anyway, so it really doesn't matter. From there, we have 90 acres in 4 different fields, 10 miles in the opposite direction, and then the 40 acres of our new farm that I haven't completely decided whether we're even going to put anhydrous on there yet. That 40 acres got some urea spread on it, so it's already had over 100 pounds of nitrogen added to it already, and it doesn't have enough, but I could Y drop the rest of the nitrogen with liquid and not have to use any anhydrous. If the corn's big enough, I'll probably go in there and put another 60 pounds of N with the anhydrous applicator and just be done with it. But if it's too small and then we need to go to Berkey, we'll just Y drop it because I'm leaving the tractor at Berkey. So that's the plan. Finish up here on Monday, head to Berkey, and finish down there on Tuesday. Think we can do it? I don't know, maybe. We're gonna try. I suppose I should wait for this car that's way down there. All right, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this one here. We had a really good day. So we sprayed this morning, did almost 250 acres, 246, something like that, and then started doing the anhydrous, and I ended up doing 239 acres of anhydrous. So covered dang near 500 acres today between those two things. That is a good day. If we could do 200 acres tomorrow, we could almost finish the anhydrous, but like I said, we don't have enough gas to do that. So it'll be Monday up here, and that is okay. I am looking forward to a little bit of time off tomorrow. So thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great night. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up on the video, would you please? And we'll see you again maybe tomorrow. You might get a Monday video this week. If not, I'll see you on Monday morning and you'll get a Tuesday video. If I'm working tomorrow, I might skip filming and just do a live stream. So maybe watch out for that.